Hey, Buff Nation, voice of the bus, Mark Johnson here. Coming up this week on the Buffalo Stampede, how about the men's basketball team getting a win over number 11 Tennessee in Nashville? We'll also recap the men's football game at USC, talking with former coach Gary Barnett and sound reporter Jeff Campbell. And we're going to take a look at cross country with Mark Wetmore as they get ready for the NCAA championships. All this week on the Buffalo Stampede. .68-66, and the Colorado Buffaloes come into Nashville in the third game of his series and on a neutral court knock off the number 11 team in the country. Forget about Rocky Top. It's the team from the mountaintops winning the ball game here in Tennessee. There's one of the biggest victories we've had in men's basketball in quite some time, and a celebration as Colorado knocks off number 11 Tennessee. They call it a neutral court game. It was in Nashville. I'll tell you, there were 13,000 people there. All but about 200 were wearing orange in that one. But what a big victory by the Buffaloes, and what a turnaround from the game they had on Friday. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Buffalo Stampede. Voice of the bus, Mark Johnson. Yeah, on Friday night, the Buffs were down in Grambling, Louisiana. A game they should have won. They're a 15-point favorite in that one. Lost to Grambling, 48 hours, come back and knock off a team that people think is a Final Four team. And the Tennessee Volunteers, a complete game effort by Tad Boyle and the men's basketball team. In fact, that was their highest neutral court victory since 1990, when the Buffs knocked off the number 6 Missouri Tigers in the old Big 8 Conference Tournament. Big win. Buffalo's now 2-1 of the season, heading down to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for the Myrtle Beach Invitational. After the big victory, certainly was a happy Tad Boyle. Powered by Ford. Cars, trucks, and SUVs built for America. Built Ford proud. Lowering kick out up top to Silva, wide open for three. Right between the eyes from downtown. And the Buffs lead it by 14.
I'm so proud of you for bouncing back emotionally, okay? Because I know it was on you guys yesterday, and you guys responded. We're still in the early stages of this thing. I hope we can learn from just the last 48 hours. Okay, what happened Friday night versus what happened today. Think how much we can learn about ourselves, because you guys just beat a really good basketball team, a well-coached team, a team that's got good players. So we played, at a high level. We can even play at a higher level. But the fact that you guys took the game plan and you shared the ball and you made plays for each other, that is the key. Okay, and if we guard the way we guarded, okay, with just the intensity, the competitiveness, the grit, the toughness of getting through screens, guys, we can have a fantastic year. But every game counts. You guys understand that? Every game counts. And that's what we have to learn from the last 2 days. But guys, every game, we cannot overlook anybody as we move forward, okay? We can't do it. We got to use that for the rest of your careers, okay? You freshmen, you sophomores, you juniors, guys that are going to go on and play, you got to learn from this. We respect everybody. We fear nobody. I'm really, really proud of your response to a challenge. And you should feel good about yourselves too.
That's a mismatch.
Simpson, right by Kamwa, the throw-by to the rack.
Got just what they wanted. Worked off that double-up horns action, got the ball reversed to Simpson on the mismatch, and it was money for two in black to the rim.
Largest lead of the afternoon for Colorado.
Guys, to be really great, we have to have good depth, which we do, okay? And tonight we overcame some foul trouble, okay? Our bench was great. We came in. Some nights it's going to be like that, okay? But that's why we're deep and that's why we're talented. You stay in the game. Everybody else steps up, okay? We win as a team and we lose as a team, right? And that's the attitude you got to have all the time.
But I think you guys got to learn from this. It's about your mindset and how you approach games, okay? Nothing changed. Nobody got a better jumper. Nobody became a better ball handler. We didn't put in a different offense. It's just all about the way you guys approach the game at Grambling and how you approach it here. You got to remember that throughout the rest of your career.
82-5 now. 82-5. That's the first time we've done that all year against the top 10 teams. All right, great job, guys. Good job, guys. Here we go. Family on three. 1, 2, 3, family.
There's head coach of the Buffaloes, Tad Boyle, after the Buffs knock off number 11 Tennessee down in Nashville. What a game by K.J. Simpson, by the way. The young point guard, career highs, 23 points, 10 rebounds. He was unreal. The Buffs defense suffocating as they take down the Vols. They're now heading down to South Carolina to take on UMass on Thursday in the opening game of the Myrtle Beach Invitational. Coming up next here in the Buffalo Stampede, we're talking football. Former coach and my broadcast partner, Gary Barnett, joins us next.
Fontenot gets a nice block. There he goes. Out across the 40. Fontenot to the 25. Still on his feet as he tumbles inside the USC 20. A huge chunk play for Colorado.
Man, it was great to see Alex Fontenot out there running his fourth career 100-yard rushing game. There he had a touchdown in this contest. Ends up with 108 yards on 20 carries. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Buffalo Stampede. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Coach Gary Barnett for the broadcast. Buffs fall 55-17 to USC. First off, Alex Fontenot. He brings a little something different to this offense, doesn't he?
Oh, well, he does. One, experience, and he's just got a nice knack of running. And, you know, I think the way he runs, guys want to block for him.
Yeah.
And he's just one of those kinds of players.
All right. Buffs lose in a lopsided game. What's your takeaway from this one?
Well, Mark, we played hard. I thought we had a nice plan defensively, and we made it work early on. But then, you know, our defense got worn down.
Yeah.
I mean, we couldn't do anything offensively. We had one nice drive. It ended up in a field goal. But then we just made some critical mistakes in the second quarter and put our defense out there for a long time. We turned the ball over. We turned it over again to them. And, you know, it's just, it was typical Colorado football, the way it's been played this year, pretty much after the first quarter.
Buffaloes, and probably that score rolling across the country, probably opened some eyes. It was 3-2 after one quarter, but you kind of had the sense that eventually the dam was going to break.
Yeah, they thought it was a World Series score.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, we knew it. I mean, we knew it could happen, but we were playing hard, and, you know, we needed to. You just got to be consistent, and we weren't consistent at all.
Yeah.
If we had stayed with the run a little bit, I think we'd had a better chance.
Yeah, maybe stay with the run. There were tackling issues in this ball game. That's kind of been a consistent issue throughout the season. Afterward, we heard from an interim head coach, Mike Sanford. Presented by Coors Light. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Celebrate responsibly.
You look at the last 2 weeks in particular going into this game, I mean, there's all the reason in the world probably to hang your head and not start fast defensively. And it just shows the resolve in the fight and just the belief that those players have. And I think you're also starting to see some great individual efforts, you know, like Jamar's doing some really good things, guys doing some really good things. You're seeing some good individual efforts. You know, Aaron Austin stood out to me, just rushing the passer. It's a guy that I wanted to see more of, and he's been a contributor on special teams all year. But you know, I think some of this young talent is starting to emerge, and some of those 5th and 6th year seniors that probably hadn't had the success, they're starting to believe in themselves. And you know, as we all know, it's just piecing it all together. And it's super challenging when you're not playing perfect football against these types of teams, and that's really where we're at. We got to execute at a very high level for 4 quarters, and you know the margin for error is small when you're playing against SC with the athletes they have and the quarterback they have, and even the defensive athletes they have. I mean, they move the front a lot. There's a lot of different pieces, and I'd say arguably one of the best pass rushers in college football.
There's interim head coach Mike Sanford after the Buffaloes fall 55-17. We continue with Coach Gary Barnett. What the Buffs did, their defensive scheme caused some problems for USC, didn't it? They were dropping 8 all night long, trying to keep Caleb Williams in the pocket.
They did, and he's a great competitor. You know, he'll certainly be in the Heisman. He'll be in New York for the Heisman Trophy, maybe not to win it, but he's going to be a guy that you're going to have to look at and consider for that award.
4 consecutive games now with 5 or more touchdowns. He had 3 passing, you had 2 rushing. All right, Buffalo's got 2 very tough games still coming up down the stretch, as this season just doesn't seem to end, does it?
It's a season that won't end. And we get another night game.
That's right.
And for you and me, it's just really tough. Yeah, I mean, and we've got 2 tough teams. I mean, Washington may be every bit as good as this team we just played. And then, of course, Utah may be better than this team that we just played. So, you know, it was just the luck of the draw with this schedule. And it's brutal. It's hard on the kids. But, you know, they want to play college football and they want to play again. It's just hard to keep their spirits up.
Yeah, the Buffaloes next week. Gary mentions it's a night game. It's a 7 o'clock game next week. in Seattle. He and I and Bobby Passametto are going to hit the air at 5 o'clock for the Buffalo Stampede pregame show on the Colorado Football Network from the Emerald City for Coach Gary Barnett. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We're going to talk with our sideline reporter, Buffs great Jeff Campbell, next on the Buffalo Stampede.
And Williams, play action again. Down the seam, he has a target. It is picked off. Nico Reed.
Well, early on in this ball game, that was a great play. Former Buff Brendan Rice, the receiver, and the ball yanked away from him by Nico Reed. Back in the Buffalo Stampede, Sue Campbell was on the sidelines for it. That was a heck of a defensive play.
That was an unbelievable defensive play. Both of them went up to get the ball, and it's who wanted it most. And he wanted it most and came down with it, which, in that first quarter, we needed a little bit of momentum. It gave us some momentum, but we weren't able to hang on to it.
Yeah, shortly thereafter, the Buffaloes gave up a safety because there was a celebration by Nico afterward, half the distance goal line. JT Shroutka called for intentional grounding out of the end zone. But it was 3-2 after the first quarter. This team was fighting early.
Yeah, they were fighting early. They fought all game long.
Yeah.
I think the defense was on the field so many minutes, they got super tired, and then USC just started rolling over them. But they've got to be able to take that first quarter of play and stretch that into 4 quarters.
The Buffaloes were able to run the ball. We talked about it in our radio pregame show on the Colorado Football Network. Can they run the ball? USC had been vulnerable there. We did, but didn't do it consistently in this game.
We did, and I agreed with what you guys are saying in the booth. I thought it was vital that they were going to just start pounding the ball at him. Fontenot was running the ball like I have never seen him run the ball. That guy runs the ball hard, but I've never seen him run the ball as hard as he did tonight. Super proud of him, but yes, we needed to run the football more. Alex
Fontenot hadn't really played much, of course, since the second game of the season. Last week came back, had a couple of nice runs. His fourth 100-yard rushing game, 108 yards and a touchdown. He's a little different runner. He's not a guy that's the fastest guy in the world, not the biggest guy, but he runs smart, doesn't he?
He does, and when he squares his shoulders up, which he did an amazing job of tonight, he's going to run right over you.
Yeah.
And he had a couple of guys. I mean, the score that he had about 4 of the guys from SC on his back while they were getting him in the end zone.
Yeah, Alex, a fun guy to watch. He's got 4 career 100-yard rushing games now, but the Buffs still fall 55-17. Afterward, we heard from one of the leaders on defense, Jalen Sami.
We definitely try to come out something different, give them a different look, something that we thought beneficial it was for us, and both on the back end and in the run game. So just as we started off, having 3 and outs or just having stops and getting them off the field and giving our offense the ball, that was just elevated to what we were trying to do, our game plan for this game. But they made some adjustments and they figured out where to attack us, and so we just got to keep doing. We got to make adjustments on top of that. So, but we definitely had the mindset to come out here and just we have nothing to lose. Just give it our all, and just hit it, give it to them first. Don't wait and sit back and just take it all. Just go out and attack. So it's not what we wanted, but we're out here working every day. We're trying to compete. But for me personally, these are just opportunities for me to get better.
There was Jalen Sami after the ball game. Buffs fall 55-17. We continue with Jeff Campbell. What was your take on Caleb Williams, first time you saw him?
Well, I'll tell you, from warm-up, he was impressive. Just to watch him warm up was just one of the most amazing things I've seen. I haven't seen a quarterback that can run to his left, which is the opposite side of where his throwing arm goes, and throw a dart from 25 yards away right on the money. I thought he was a little wild during the game tonight, but overall, that's a pretty impressive quarterback.
All great athletes, you begin to see guys emulate them, right? Michael Jordan played, a lot of guys try to play like Jordan. We're seeing Patrick Mahomes start to affect college quarterbacks.
Well, you started talking tonight about arm angles, and when you're on the field, to watch him sidearm a ball or just 3/4 arm a ball and get it right on the money is really kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, the Buffaloes, though, lose this one. Impressive quarterback for USC. It doesn't get any easier. They got 2 more ball games the Buffaloes do at Washington next week, the week after that against Utah. We're kind of playing the string out, but even though there's a new coach on the way at some point in time, you want to see this young group continue to learn for Colorado, don't you?
Yeah, the younger kids are going to have to step up. They're going to have to start building for next year, regardless of who that coach is going to be. You're still going to be competing for a job and a position, so there's no better time right now to get out there and fight. I mean, I don't doubt that the team is going to fight between now and the end of the year. My biggest concern is can they fight for 4 quarters and put it all together?
Yeah, that's been a big question. They played hard tonight. They ended up about 10 minutes less than time of possession of the ball game. That defense just got worn out as the game wore on.
They did. They were exhausted. And I'll tell you, that defensive front all game long did an unbelievable job of just holding them up and making plays on the run so those DBs could drop back into coverage. Now, USC made a couple of big plays. They threw it underneath. There was like a 41-yard play that happened. But those are going to happen when you're trying to prevent the big play. You may have a big play that comes from underneath.
Yeah, the defensive scheme was kind of interesting. First time we saw them drop 8 all year long, and they really confused USC early on. That's Jeff Campbell, Soup. Always great to have him in the sidelines as the Buffs fall 55-17 here at USC. Coming up next, we're going to talk with cross-country coach Mark Wetmore coming up a Pac-12 championship and heading to the NCAAs.
Colorado volleyball sweeps Oregon State 25-13 in the third set, 25-12 in the first. A dominant performance. The Oregon State Beavers never got out of the teens and didn't even get into the teens in one of those sets. And Colorado moves to 9-7 now in conference play.
There's a great win by the volleyball team, sweeping the Beavers of Oregon State. That avenged a loss to OSU early this season. Megan Hart had an outstanding match, 8 kills, 6 blocks. Maya Tabron matching the high with kills with 11 on Friday. The Buffaloes are at Washington as they take to the road in the Pac-12. Back in the Buffalo Stampede. There we go. Look at the hardware right there. And more of it has been won by the Colorado cross-country team. Mark Wetmore joining us here, picking up women's title in Pac-12 cross-country. And, you're running out of space back here is the thing.
We got one space left, and it's over.
Well, you retire, we get new space. How does that work?
I think it'll be time for me to wrap it up.
Let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's go back to the Pac-12 championships. Awful good day for the women. Let's start there.
Yeah, the women ran well. Everybody did what we needed them to do. Bailey was wonderful. Caitlin Barthel was wonderful. As you know, it was a tiebreaker, which is inexplicably complicated for the general public, but it basically required that either one of them, both of them outkicked a Utah runner, and it worked out, so it was wonderful.
I had made the joke at some speaking event. I said, what the tiebreaker should be? The coaches should go out there running against each other.
I think I'd lose. I might have to abdicate to Coach Burrows, maybe. Yeah.
Picking up that individual championship, though, what a kick at the end of the race for her.
Yeah, she's a good kicker when she sees it within reach, and we knew that, and she knew that. She was down quite a bit with just 300 meters to go, but she went and got it.
Yeah, with that kind of situation right there, that comes down to like old coach Jeff Bezdelik used to say around here, will and want to, doesn't it?
You're not catching her with a 20 or 30 meter deficit if you don't will it and want it, for sure, yeah.
Has she always been a tough runner? I mean, would you describe her as a tough runner?
Well, she's new to us, She did an undergrad degree at Indiana, so she just came to us in August, but she's been tough so far.
Yeah. That's interesting because, the transfer portal, we talk about that so much in football and basketball. Is that affecting you in cross country as much?
Quite a bit recently because of the amount of eligibility people got after COVID. Mm-hmm. Everybody got another year after COVID. It'll quiet down. The transferring will quiet down now, I think.
Give us a quick comment about the men's performance in the Pac-12 championships.
They were good. Yeah. It wasn't brilliant. Stanford's the best team in the country right now, and I wouldn't say we gave them a good run, but we gave a real good run to Oregon and Washington and UCLA and everybody else.
Well, we're going to talk more with Mark Wetmore, what's coming up. In fact, they're on their way to the NCAA championships, but first, a win of the WNIT for J.R. Payne and the CU women's basketball team.
Side wing. Jones will give it back to Miller. Miller for a 3. Yeah!
Just really proud of how we played tonight. This is a difficult game for us, being that stylistically we don't see that style, our multitude of athletes on the floor at one time very often. And so I was really proud of how we responded, and really competed in the areas that we wanted to compete. And I think that's a really good basketball team. I think Jackson State's going to win a ton of games. They should be a tournament team again. They're very good. And I think that we played really well and responded to a really good team coming into Boulder.
Get up, need some help. Vonleh catches, lobs underneath Miller. Miller, a little push off, got away with it. She caught it with the right.
Well, we wanted to pressure. We wanted to try to create some turnovers. We felt like we could do that. And I think just sort of top to bottom, we communicated really well defensively, I thought. There were some different actions we hadn't necessarily seen that we had to guard, but I thought our communication was on point. And we're a defensive team. We love to play defense, so I think we did that well tonight.
He's up, got a thumbs up. Wynn fires a 3 and knocks it down.
Yeah, I think we prepared a lot of just being loading up on the help side and playing team defense, and that obviously really got them out of what they were doing, so we could pick off those passes. And
I'd say I think my teammates do a good job of making me feel more comfortable, always looking inside. And then I'm usually in with Quay, and so I feel like me and her have a good connection, so being able to work inside out with her is helpful too.
I think just we have a lot of good pieces on the floor. I think we've improved our shooting from our guard spots, so that just opens up the floor so much more. When our posts run the floor in transition, that's when I get those easy shots, O-board kickouts. I think it's just, there's a lot of things team-wise that makes the shots much easier.
Now to see you women after that victory in the WNIT. Now they're moving on. They've got a couple of games on the road coming up later on this week in the WNIT. We continue with Mark Wetmore. Buffs coming off the Mountain Regional Championships in Albuquerque. Give us a recap of that.
Well, the regionals are a semifinal, so to speak, and as in an individual race, you like to get to the final as well rested as possible. So all the teams are taking it carefully in the region.
Yeah, the men and women both finish, by the way, in the top 5 and get the bid to the NCAA championships. See, the men 31 straight years, the women 30 out of 31. You got to work on that side there, Mark. But
it's a disappointment.
Missed that one year. Death taxes and the Buffs going to the NCAA championships. That's an awful nice honor for both teams.
Yeah, I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
I don't like to pat myself on the back, but making it every year that I've been here, I'm proud of that. Yeah.
So now you're on your way to Stillwater, Oklahoma. You were there early this year at the Cowboy Jamboree, correct?
Yes.
Tell us about that course.
It's a hard, hilly course. It's a beautiful course.
Yeah.
They've done a good job with it. It's hard, it's fair, and we haven't done well on it yet.
Okay, right.
We've been there 3 or 4 times, so I have to figure it out.
Coming from elevation like we do you prefer hilly courses as compared to a flat course?
Well, we always preferred anything difficult. Hill, snow, mud, wind, heat, whatever makes it more difficult is our métier.
I've always been appreciative of what Mark does with cross country because everything is built towards peaking for this time of year. You feel good about where the teams are?
You're supposed to, and I think so. The men look very good in Albuquerque. The women struggled a little bit, but some things that we can fix.
Okay.
I think we can have our best races of the year this Saturday.
Well, you say that the women win the Pac-12 championship and then maybe struggle. How does a cross-country team struggle in that regard?
Yeah, I don't know. They're awful pleased with how the conference went, and maybe they're a little depleted. I don't know. Anyway, they better be ready Saturday.
All right. Got a big one coming up. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Mark Wetmore, he and the cross-country team will be in Stillwater, Oklahoma for the NCAA championships, looking to bring home more hardware. As we put a wrap this week out of Buffalo Stampede, I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next time.